Today, we're digging into something really important for businesses in India. What actually makes Gen Z employees stay put in their jobs?
Yeah, it's a big question. We're looking at a document called What Keeps Indian Employees, especially Gen Z, from Switching Jobs.
Exactly. And our mission today is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Let's nail down those key factors, the real drivers for keeping this generation engaged, and pull out some insights you can actually use.
Okay, let's do it. What jumps out first?
Well, right off the bat, it's this idea of purpose-driven work. It seems like it's way more than just, the salary for them.
Absolutely. We're seeing this globally, but it seems particularly strong with Gen Z in India. They're drawn to companies with clear social missions.
Right, or strong sustainability goals, inclusive cultures. It's about feeling like their work actually, well, matters, makes a difference.
It really connects with a generation that's often very tuned into, broader societal issues in India.
Hmm.
They want their job to mean something.
Then, closely linked, is skill growth and learning opportunities. This seems massive.
Oh, definitely. Constant learning is a huge motivator. Think workshops, getting mentored, maybe new certifications.
Exposure to new tech, that kind of thing.
Precisely. In such a competitive job market like India's, upskilling isn't just nice to have. It feels essential for them.
Which I suppose puts the pressure back on companies, doesn't it? To provide real, ongoing learning.
Yeah, not just box-ticking exercises. It needs to be part of the culture.
And that flows right into the next point. Clear career paths. They need to see where they're going.
Transparency is vital here. Can they see growth opportunities? Is there a chance for internal moves? Are achievements actually, recognized?
Because if that's missing, if it's all murky,
That's when frustration builds and they start looking elsewhere. Simple as that. Seeing a future keeps them invested.
okay, let's shift gears slightly. Flexibility and remote work options. This feels like a game changer, especially now.
Huge. The pandemic really accelerated this. Hybrid models, even fully remote work, these are now top retention factors.
Gen Z seems to really value that autonomy, right?
Yeah.
Less rigid 9-to-5 thinking.
It's a big shift in valuing work-life integration, being able to manage things more effectively.
Of course, money still matters. Competitive and transparent pay is on the list.
Sure, but interestingly, it's not just about the absolute highest salary. Fairness seems key.
Fairness. You mean like compared to the market?
Yeah, aligned with market rates, but also internal parity, feeling like they're paid fairly compared to colleagues in similar roles. And transparency in how pay is decided builds massive trust.
Got it. So fair pay is the foundation. What else?
Mental health support. This is climbing up the priority list fast.
The things like wellness programs, mental health, days off.
Exactly. And also having leaders who are empathetic, who actually support well-being. It's crucial, especially in those high-pressure sectors like tech or finance.
Makes sense. It's about the whole person, not just the output.
Right. And linked to that is having a respectful, inclusive culture.
Meaning workplaces where you can actually give feedback openly.
Yes, and where diversity is genuinely valued, not just talked about. Where there isn't that hierarchy-based bias you sometimes see.
Creating that feeling of really belonging.
That's it. Psychological safety. Feeling comfortable being yourself.
Okay, something more practical now. Location and commute.
Ah, yes. In big Indian cities, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, this is a massive factor. Long commutes are draining.
So offices closer to home, or maybe flexible hours to avoid peak traffic.
Huge pluses. Anything that eases that daily travel burden is a major draw. Quality of life stuff.
And related to that, I guess, is work-life balance and boundaries.
Definitely. There's a real concern about burnout from constant overtime.
For companies that respect personal time, that don't expect weekend work constantly.
And that trust employees without micromanaging them, those are the ones that are valued. Respecting boundaries is key for the long haul.
Right? Prevents that total exhaustion. Okay, one last point here. Recognition and ownership.
Yeah, this generation wants to be recognized for their impact. Not just how long they've been somewhere.
So giving them real ownership over tasks, projects.
Exactly, and then acknowledging their specific contributions. That fosters loyalty, makes them feel genuinely invested.
Okay, wow. That's quite a list. 10 key things driving retention for Gen Z in India.
Purpose, growth, clear paths, flexibility, fair pay, mental health support, inclusion, location, balance, and recognition. It covers a lot of ground.
It really does. So wrapping this up, we've seen these 10 factors are crucial for keeping Gen Z employees in India engaged and committed. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Well, given how strongly these priorities resonate with Gen Z, how might paying attention to these things start to, reshape workplace norms and expectations for everyone, not just the younger generation, both in India and maybe even globally?
That's a really interesting thought. Definitely something for employers and maybe all of us to consider.
Food for thought indeed. Thanks for diving deep with us today.